Welcome to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. It's Peter and Ruffy's football show. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruff will be joining us from a beach somewhere.
Peter and Ruffy's never here.
Day 5. Has anyone spotted Ruffy? Anyway, apart from that, I'm delighted that we've got a really strong team here. Good defence, great midfield, and fantastic forward line. It's as simple as that because Richard Foster's here, Charlie Adam and Tam McManus, and of course you can give us your opinion on the weekend Scottish Premiership football, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to it. So many games with so much at stake. You can tell us how you think they're going to go. We're going to give you our predictions as well, and then we can all argue with each other until we say goodbye tonight. So with that in mind, lots to talk about. Let's get into the meat and bones of all this. And first and foremost, last night, Richard Foster, we did predict that Rangers would lose a slender defeat, and in the end that's how it proved. But I think they'll be happy with 1-0.
I think they will because they never played well. I watched the game and they started the game quite brightly, and then they allowed Braga to come back in the game. They took control for the rest of the first half, obviously hit the post, goal disallowed, rightly so, and then they get the goal just before half time. And then in the second half it was like Braga just were happy to win 1-0, and Rangers were marginally better in the second half, but they never really pressed. You know, I thought they'd have maybe changed the shape a bit and kind of gone two up top and try and get the ball forward a bit quicker, but it was so lacklustre from both sides. I felt that over the piece, Rangers are probably disappointed that they only got beat 1-0. However, going back to Ibrox, they should certainly feel that they can go and beat Braga by more than a goal at Ibrox.
Yeah, I think, and I think I read Bill Leckie talking about it in The Sun about VAR coming in. Why wait till, after the World Cup? Midway through a season, it should be in from the start of this next season coming. But I'll tell you, Rangers were happy last night with the VAR because they spotted the kick on Ryan Jack, and then the goal that Braga thought they'd scored was disallowed.
No, they've been. I think they've been on the right side of it, Rangers, quite a lot. They even got a new slogan, "We are the people." The Rangers fans are saying. So, no, listen, VAR's been their friend.
That's just after they're speaking. He's all over that
now, Charlie.
So no, listen, they got away with it last night as well. They got that on their side, and they'll be hoping that the VAR keeps on their side for the next game as well.
Yeah, you're happy with that guy, aren't you? You look at he's
delighted. Somebody sent him that, gave him that. He's not made that up himself.
No, he's on form at the moment. That's great, Tam. Well done to you, son. Don't forget, Tam's available for kids' parties as well. That's absolutely magnificent. Anyway, apart from anything else, you'll take it because they did eventually score one goal, Charlie. Like Richard mentioned yesterday, I think Rangers can easily, with a real partisan crowd at Ibrox, finish them off, get back in level terms and then win it.
Yeah, listen, Braga were probably the best draw for Rangers. They'll be disappointed, but I think the old firm's taking a lot out of them mentally, physically. And to go away from home and to only lose 1-0, they'll be happy with that. And like you say, to be able to go back to Ibrox, the record at Ibrox has been great over the years in Europe. I think getting beat from Lyon and Slavia Prague, probably at Ibrox is the only two I could think of. So the record's good, and you'd expect Rangers to get through. On showing of last night that the Braga are not the level that anybody else would have been in that competition, but you still got to do the business. It's going to be tough, but I think Rangers will go through.
Yeah, here's a wee question for all three of you, and I need supreme honesty from all three of you on this. Have you ever been subbed and then stormed into the dugout, threw the bottle down, kicked the bucket?
Oh, I've done it all.
Yeah,
I've been subbed on, subbed off.
Yeah,
yeah. It's hard, I think it's bad. Like I've had it. John Brown done it to me once in a reserve game. I come on at half time and I was.
What age were you?
17, 18.
Yeah.
Took me off after about 58 minutes. Said never impacted the game.
And to be fair, Bomber's not the one you could have an argument with. I'd go and kick a bucket.
No. So you just get on with it. But it's I think. Where else did it happen to me? I think it might have happened at Stoke as well. But I think it might have been Gary Rowett's done it, yeah.
Yeah?
I know, yeah.
Storming?
I was fuming, raging, yeah.
Yeah. What about yourself, Richard? Have you?
Usually when I get taken off, I'm thinking, thank God for that, I'm having an absolute nightmare. I've done it a couple of times where you feel like you're in the game more. or you feel like you've still got something left in the game. But I'd done it to Alec Cleland. He came off and he obviously high-fiving everyone. He's just stood like that. And I've just like full force like slapped his hand. You can see him just standing there. His hand was like pulsing after it because I'd hit him so hard. But that was one of the times at St Johnstone. But other than that, nah, like I say, a lot of the time it's like, it's a saving grace when they take me off. You're like, thank
Normally
God.
when you get dragged, the frustration is because you've probably you've not played well, and you've probably not impacted the game the way you should have. So that's probably a lot. Well, for me, that's what it would be. That I'd be frustrated with my own performance. And listen, you're probably right to be taken off.
Yeah, Ryan Jack kicked the bottle in the dugout. He wasn't happy with it. Listen, at the best of times, I think Rangers fans look to Ryan Jack to be the driving force anyway. So maybe I think Charlie makes a good point, and maybe he's so frustrated that maybe he wanted to do more in that game. What about yourself? Have you ever?
You've got 5 minutes to get a finger out of you coming off. But it happened to me a couple of times, but the best one I ever seen was Gary O'Connor when he got dragged at Ibrox and he put Ivan Sproul on, and Gary O'Connor come off and Gary was moaning, greeting and putting things about and saying to Tony Mowbray, what's he going to do? What are you putting him on for? That's a joke, not that he came on to the hat-trick against Rangers. So that was one of the best ones that I've seen, but it's difficult. But Ryan Jack he's a focal point in the midfield. I think he's a leader in there, and he'll be disappointed probably with his own performance, but getting dragged off midway through the second half, he's angry, and listen, I think you're allowed to show that, but as long as I think he high-fived the manager first and then he done it. Usually you just go and kick the bottles, but listen, I'm sure they'll apologise to the manager or whatever, but
I thought that the substitutions were strange though.
Right, a triple sub on it.
The Barisic for Balogun, unless he's injured, was a weird one, because then it takes away the chance of putting on a Ramsey, a more attacking player. So I mean,
the thing about Balogun, he's played 180 minutes for Nigeria, played in the Old Firm game, and he comes off for quite a bit of, I don't know, cramps and all that. So maybe he's trying to think about him for some of the long term.
Should we be expecting Ramsey to play in that game from the start?
Me personally, no, because of the injury situation or reportedly injury situation. No played all season, only really come back into the team, played 70 odd minutes at the weekend in an intense game, big game, and I just think that they've probably thought, right, we'll get a good, we'll let him rest and then we'll go again Sunday with him. So I could see both sides, and maybe can he go back to back Sunday, Thursday? Yeah,
well, the criticism is if you buy him, what are you buying him for? They're the games that you want him to go and make an impact.
Yeah, I think even if you're thinking like Charlie that he shouldn't start the game, you'd expect to see him at some point.
Yeah.
Give him half an hour at the end.
Yeah.
And like I say, you took that option away by taking off a defender for another defender, which seemed to me, he was obviously happy with the result, the 1-0, but I think it's all very well and good saying it, and you mentioned it a minute ago, it's all very well and good saying, we can beat them 2-0, you can, but you now need to go out and beat them, and there was nothing about the performance last night that you go, they're definitely going to beat Braga. Now I think they can, on the form they've shown in previous games, but if they put in the same display they did last night, they'll go out.
They missed Morelos, didn't they, again? I mean, we keep going on about it, they've not got that focal point, they've nobody running behind. Sakala, I'm not really having him. I think he's too raw.
I don't think he's got a future there.
I don't think he'll be there.
Lethal bit about him, is there?
He's a kind of squad player. But Morelos is a huge miss because of the way he uses his body, runs in behind, he bullies defenders. Rangers looked powder puff last night. Didn't look as if they were going to score at any time, which is very unusual for Rangers in Europe over the last couple of seasons, particularly away from home. They've always been a threat. And if Kent's not on it now, you're thinking, well, who's got a wee bit of magic? Who's going to produce something for Rangers? So Morelos again was badly missed.
I think that's a huge disappointment for Rangers, is that how I believe that Morelos trains every day. He's available for every game. He's robust. He plays all the time, and to get that injury is a huge blow for him. And let's say they've not really backed up by bringing somebody in, another type of player like Morelos. So you're probably having to play a different way if he's not in the team. And he's going to be a huge blow, and he has been. You could see it in 2 games.
Yeah, I always like to listen to, players that I think have played in that position and know exactly what it's like. And I thought Ali McCoy's commentary last night was very, very interesting on the basis that he said, Sakala's not that out-and-out striker.
It reminds me of Nacho Novo.
Yeah, he's not that, well, I'll let you elaborate on that, but what Ali mentioned was he's not that out-and-out striker, but when Roof come on, he was more involved in where you should be, Ali was always, I think, like, I look at your Ali McCoys, your John Robertsons at Hearts, your Henrik Larssons, they earn their money in the penalty box, in and around it. That's their job, that area is their domain. And Sakala to me was just, there was...
Runs the channels, didn't he? Like peel wide and all
That's
that.
what I'm saying. He goes and pulls in areas that you don't really want your striker to be. Morelos, like you say, the top ones, Robertson, McCoist, over the years, they all want to play between the goal. Boydie want to play between the sticks, and they score goals. Morelos is the same,
I think because people's argument was, well, Roof's scored, was it 10 goals he scored? Sakala scored a fair amount of goals. Yeah, but with Morelos in the team. So he takes that, I'm the focal point, you guys work around me. And both Roof and Sakala enjoy that role. Neither of the two of them can play the one when they need to be the guy to
I think he's better off the side, Sakala. I think he's better off that left side.
Yeah.
Where, like you say, he can run in behind, but as a striker going linking and all that, it's totally different from Morelos.
But I think sometimes if you are a team that's winning things and are a real threat, you've got one, but you've got others that can make an impact who are just as threatening. It's like not everybody can have a Haitley and a McCoist or a Haitley and a Mo Johnson or a Larson or a Sutton, but usually if you've got two players, one maybe coming off the bench or the two of them playing up, that can actually cause problems and score goals. I don't think Sakala's got that lethal nature to him, and if you're relying on one striker, I think you're in trouble.
Maybe better playing the two of them, Sakala and Roof.
I thought he would have done that. I thought he'd have went to 3-5-2 and pushed someone up with Roof, because I think Roof plays better with a partner.
Aye.
Well, Morelos, how many times does the ball just get slung forward or cleared and he gets on the end of it, or he throws the defender off and he takes the ball in? Both on Sunday and the game there, it was easy for the centre halves. They were stepping in, they were winning the ball back, and then Rangers are on the back foot again.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we talked about Ryan Jack there. He's one of a number of players that I think the manager Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will be looking to for the second leg.
We have to show next week. We know what the task is. It's the final game out of this tie, and I know at home, with the crowd behind us as always, we can get a good performance. So we lost 2-1 against Red Star away, but in the home game we made the difference. So we have to do the same now again.
Yeah. Anybody not think they can go through? I think they can go through.
I think they can go through.
Yeah.
If they play better than they did last night, they can go through.
Yeah.
I think they'll go through.
Yeah.
I think they'll go through Ibrox.
Okay, here's how that result fits into the other matches that were played. Leipzig and Atalanta, which will be the winner of that tie, will play the winner of Braga against Rangers. That was 1-1. West Ham won, Lyon won. West Ham were down to 10 men. Eintracht Frankfurt won, Barcelona won. So the only one that actually had the definitive result from the first leg was the Braga match. It was a tough old night for Davy Moyes' side. I thought they deserved to go down to 10 men. If you are a Hammers fan or a legendary player, I was watching last night, they were having none of it at the end of their after-match interviews. But quite simply, Dembele's running in goal, and when a player comes across, Richard, and just flicks his shoulder, I think the writing's on the wall. Although if you're a Hammers fan and you're Davy Moyes, you're thinking, I'm raging.
Yeah, I mean, there are things, when you're running at full speed or you're running at any speed and someone just pulls your shoulder a little bit, it throws you off balance. And if Dembele stays up and tries to run on, Creswell probably gets back and tackles him, because and that's all it takes. You think, it's the slightest of touch, but that's all it takes when you're moving at that speed to really impede them and get the better of them. So yeah, you look at, like I say, you look at it as a West Ham fan, you think, maybe not, maybe, but when you kind of look at it more objectively, you think, yeah, it's a red card. You've seen him given all the time, and it is a foul, because it's so annoying if you're that player running and someone does pull you back or flicks you around, because you lose all your momentum.
Yeah, interestingly enough, of all the games last night, the one that was an absolute screamer of a goal was scored by a former Hammers player, Dimitri Payet. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it on social media? Wow, what a hit that was.
He didn't try and bust it either. He just come onto it and it was just pure right off the.
Similar to when Ramsey scored for Arsenal against Galatasaray. Was it in the Champions League Cup a few years ago as well? It's a beauty of strike.
But every one of you know, there's a moment when there's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, and even one of his teammates, I think, ducks out because he can just see it hitting the rise. Did
you see the PAOK Salonika fans and the Marseille fans firing fireworks at each other?
Yeah.
That was interesting as well. Just firing rockets into each other and into the crowd. It was brilliant.
I'm hoping there's a full investigation into that and they're fined.
No bottles, but just fireworks.
Just fireworks. Yeah, absolutely. Again, this thing in some countries, it's acceptable as part of the whole fanfare. But the implications of it are severe. Sometimes, especially with the flares, because if it explodes in your hand, you're in big trouble. And mentioning the bottle, I just want to, before we start talking about the Scottish Premiership, a 32-year-old man has been charged with hitting the Celtic physio with a bottle. So if found guilty, I think we're all in agreement here, banned for life. Should his name be made public? I mean, because obviously his conduct will have implications for his job if that's the way he behaves in a football ground.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the ways to get rid of it in football. If he's punished by not being able to go to football matches, if he's charged by the police, but if also he's his employers know that we've got a 32-year-old man, no like a 15, 16-year-old boy, a grown man, and he's thrown a glass bottle at someone. Like, no place for it in football, but he should be punished across the board. And if other people see that, they then might think twice about throwing the bottle. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, the implications, obviously, of Rangers being involved in the Europa League is they have to play on the Sunday, and before that, Celtic are up against St Johnstone. And every game that we're going to talk about now, Tam, has got something in it, and I think great testimony. I'm sure the SPFL and everybody's going, oh great, we've got it right, this is what you get. We love that. We love the excitement of having games that are meaningful. So great credit to them for that. Richard and I are of the opinion we'd like a bigger league, but that's a moot point when you get a situation where they can trumpet from the top of the hill. Look what you're getting now in the playoff.
Yeah, I think the playoffs have been a brilliant addition to Scottish football. I remember when I was back playing Premier League or the Championship, if you finished bottom, you were done. There's no playoff. Same in the Championship, there was no second, third and fourth. And your season could be finished in January or February. You had nothing to play for. So now there's plenty to play for a lot of teams. Celtic against St Johnstone, don't see Celtic slipping up. St Johnstone obviously hit a bit of form, a couple of back-to-back wins, starting to keep clean sheets again, but I think Celtic will take a lot of confidence for that performance last week. They've got real strength and depth now in competition for places, and I think they'll win the game comfortably. I think if they get the early goal, it could be 3 or 4-0 to Celtic.
Yeah, their manager says it's a similar approach whether it's Rangers or indeed St Johnstone.
Maybe they're partying in there, I don't know, maybe they've got disco balls and they're dancing around. Unlikely, I'd say, but I think, as I keep saying, what I look at is how we train, how we present ourselves every day as a group of men. And when I see them out there, I haven't seen any change whatsoever from the way we prepared for the last game. We've prepared exactly the same way for this game.
So they've got the bit between the teeth, to be perfectly honest with you. If you're going in, running into a title, is it all just focused now? You think, okay, you've won a big game, you've got 2 against Rangers still to come, but is it all about your mindset now? The confidence is so high.
Well, the two sides are totally different. Celtic just need to win every game. That's the focus for them, and Rangers need teams to help them win the title, to help them claw back the points difference. So there's 2 different mindsets here. One's chasing, obviously one's ahead. So Celtic needs to, let's just focus on St Johnstone, and then we'll worry about whatever comes the next game after that. So listen, the mentality and the mindset of the Celtic players, and Ange especially, will just be simple: win the game, no matter hook or crook. If it's a 1-0 89th minute, we'll take it and we move on. And that's what they'll do for the next 6 games. You just try and get over that line as quick as they can.
Yeah, and you mentioned there, it's a situation at the moment where everything is rosy in the garden. They're still chasing the treble. Kyogo is available, fit and available. James Forrest may be a week away, but everybody will just be itching to be involved in the games.
Yeah, listen, as Charlie said, you're 6 games away from winning, potentially 3 or 4 games away from winning the title. And that could be a massive achievement for Celtic, particularly really well at the start of the season. So, listen, it's just about winning now. It's not about performance. Just winning 3 points, tick that one off, go to the next game, and try and keep putting the pressure on the Rangers, who have got a tough game on Sunday, coming back from Europe. But I don't see Celtic slipping up. I think they've won the league, but they'll just be looking to try and tick off a couple more games and maybe get the league won in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Dermot Desmond, the majority shareholder from Celtic, surprised everybody with an interview. And here are the key points from that interview that he made on Celtic TV. No intention of selling his Celtic shares, not even if he was offered 4 times the current price. He explained some of the things that happened last season that stopped him winning 10 in a row. He said Fraser Forster had agreed to a Celtic loan before Craig Gordon was allowed to leave, but Foster then changed his mind. He says Celtic will never mismanage their finances to the point of liquidation. That is not something that he's going to give as an only option for the club. They're going to make sure that never happens. And also, Peter Lawwell should take all the plaudits for the appointment of Ange Postecoglou in the summer. So I think the Celtic fans, it's a great time for a majority shareholder to come out and make the statements, because I think a lot of people were so disappointed in the debacle of last season, but Everton seems to have turned around so quickly, and I don't think any of us thought that was possible at the start of the season, even the way Ange Postecoglou's side started.
No, I mean, what was it, 3 games out of the first 6 they lost them. But yeah, I mean, I think the Celtic fans were demanding this kind of openness last year. They've had a year to come up with a response to, I've seen there why Lennon kept his job and all the different things, the Fraser Forster thing. I noticed he never came out and told us who sanctioned signing Barkas for 5 million. But yeah, I mean, everything's rosy in the garden just now because Ange Postecoglou's surprised us all and done such a good job, managed to galvanise a team who were on their knees, brought in kind of fresh players new to the game in Scotland, and they've really, they've taken on the mantle. And we've seen last Sunday they're by far and away the best team in Scotland, and the manager and the players deserve full credit for that. I'm not sure how much credit I would give to the board, but they did bring him in, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't think too many people the whole thing, there's a lot of things that I think Dermot Desmond wouldn't want to actually sit and go into any greater detail on, and that's the joy of painting that lovely picture when it's all rosy at the moment, as Tam mentioned there. But even trying to appoint someone after all the things, and I don't blame Neil Lennon for all of it, I think there were lots of other contributing factors, but even after that, the Eddie Howe debacle just raged on, and then suddenly out of nowhere, and if it was Peter Lawwell, then fair play to him for pulling that name out, but Ange Postecoglou, must have looked at it and thought to himself, this might have to be a transitional season, but it hasn't turned out that way.
No, I think, if you look at the way Ange's mindset has been since day one, he has a process, he has a way of playing, and he won't deviate from that. And he said that I will just stick to the plan. There's no plan B. The plan A will be that we'll go and try and win every game. This is the way we're going to play, and I believe that. If I was Ange Postecoglou, the only times that Celtic get beat is if they drop their intensity levels. And I think that if I was him, I would just be coming in saying every week, lads, we have to just run harder than everybody else because we've got the best players.
Do you like the way he goes about
I love
that?
it.
Yeah.
I think he's breath fresh air, the way his persona, his aura, and what he's brought into the Scottish game's been brilliant. He's open and honest, and if he's not happy with something, he'll say it. And the players have responded for that. So no, I think, like I say, we as outsiders never knew nothing about Ange Postecoglou, but that Celtic group, connections with the Man City group, and Yokohama and things like that, they've known about Ange Postecoglou for a long time. So it's taken a while. Eddie Howe obviously rejected it eventually, and they've thought we'll give it to Ange because of his record in Japan and what he's done with the national team in Australia. So they've obviously chosen right, and Dermot's come out in a good week. I seen him in Augusta earlier in the week, and everything's good at Celtic.
He usually actually comes out just before there's a major golf tournament.
I did actually see him. Did you see him hugging Tiger Woods?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
He was hugging Tiger Woods. I think it was Monday or Tuesday at Augusta. So then the interview comes.
Not
out.
a bad life, is it?
No, that's good.
But is he happy? Anyway, apart from that, I mean, the one thing I would say, looking at all that, I mean, he has in quite a long interview defended the right to stick by Neil Lennon. I think a lot of people are football is one of those things you can be a hero one minute and then you're absolutely vilified the next. Neil Lennon, rightly, I think he mentioned the fact that he had achieved as a manager before. He was worthy of being given the time, and then people will come out and give lines out which I think are a load of nonsense. He was tactically inept. He wasn't tactically inept when they were dismantling Lazio home and away. There was so many things that derailed Celtic. You could not have written in a novel 7 or 8 things that they made major mistakes on, from signings to Dubai, to managers' mistakes along the way, the board's mistakes, and quite a few of them.
Yeah, I think that the main thing for me is recruitment. I think you look at Barkas and the Jetty. both come in for what?
10 million.
£10 million. I mean, look what Ange Postecoglou spent. Probably not even as much as that, and he's got quality players in.
Yeah, I think the board deserves credit, Tam, this season for if they brought him in. There's a mindset change in the boardroom as well, because he clearly had said to them early on. I don't know if you remember it. He said, I want players and I want them quickly.
He wasn't happy at one point saying it wasn't quick enough, was it?
Yeah.
And like I say, he's coming with a mindset, it's my way or the highway. And to be fair, I think it's brilliant what he's done. And I think he's been brilliant for Celtic. And he carries himself like a proper Celtic manager. And, Lenny's obviously had a bit of stick because obviously they lost 10 in a row. But there's more to it. The players wanted to leave, they weren't happy, they didn't expect things from the club. So it's down to the players as well, the ones that wanted to leave. There were unrest in the camp and things
like that. A lot of little
very difficult.
going on.
It's very difficult to be a manager and trying to get them to perform on the pitch on a Saturday.
I think COVID played a big part as well.
Yeah.
I think the fact that there was no supporters in at Parkhead and there was no supporters in at Ibrox, I think helped Rangers more than Celtic. I'm not saying that's the reason why Rangers won the league, but I think when you look at this season, with the fans back in and everything, Rangers have nowhere near as good a record with the supporters back in. So I think that Celtic have benefited now from the supporters back in the stadiums, and Rangers haven't as much.
Yeah, okay. Just as a flip on here, I think it would be remiss of me not to mention them. St Johnstone are not there just to make up the numbers. They are going to fight tooth and nail.
I hope so.
Yeah, I know you do.
For a day.
Well, that was my question to you, because at the end of the day, this is I know it's going to be so tough, and you've all been involved in big games, but the reason why this is so special is because Mark McGee mentioned earlier on this week, listen, this could flip. If we could beat Dundee United, St Johnstone are odds against taking anything from Celtic Park. It must fill the lads full of confidence.
Yes, but you have to worry about, I've said it obviously, you worry about yourself first and foremost, because anything can happen in football. Red card, some own goal, and St Johnstone can hang on. So we cannot worry about what's at St Johnstone. We need to focus on ourselves, win our game, and then take it to next week. When the split happens and go from there.
Is this one of the games that your manager thinks you can win? Because he doesn't think you're going to win many, so you'd hope he thinks you can beat Dundee.
Yeah, I'm not
we
sure
need to win.
I'm not sure about Mark's psychology. You don't need to answer that, but I'm not sure about it, Richard. Are you?
No, he's in a practical sense, he's right. With all
we've only won 5 games all season.
Yeah, so you're not going to win the next 5.
Yeah.
But it's maybe the timing. You maybe, but man, maybe the players need a bit of realism that guys, to deal with disappointment, you need to expect it. To be prepared for it. And that's obviously what he's trying to say. It's quite a funny line for a manager of a club who are at the bottom of the league to say at this time of the season that you're not going to win many games. But winning on Saturday would go a long way to get right, because St Johnstone have created that gap, and they're probably feeling good about themselves, and they're starting to look ahead. Can they catch St Mirren? If Dundee then get within 3 points of them, it could, the psychology of the whole thing flips again, and they'll both have each other to play. They'll play the sides around about them, so it's a huge weekend for both clubs.
Peter, I can remember I was at Dundee. I probably said this before. This exact week, the game before the split, I was at Dundee and we beat Dunfermline at home, and we went 12 points clear of Dunfermline. Going into the split,
still got relegated.
And we got relegated. We took 1 point from 15 and we got relegated in the last game of the season. So it's not over. If you're a Dundee supporter, a lot of people are writing them off. It's never over until it's over. And if Dundee can beat Dundee United, what a boost that would give them. I think St Johnstone will take nothing from Celtic. All of a sudden it's 3 points going into the split.
It's a banker. It's going to be first second game, isn't it? St Johnstone Dundee.
Well, not only that, I think I'm glad you highlighted that point, because I was just about to say, I think there's a twist in the tail.
There's a lot of teams that can get dragged in.
I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think you guys, if you can somehow do something in that derby and win that game, suddenly it's 3 points and you're playing against all the teams around you. It's game one for me.
No, listen, but what I say, focus on, let's just try and win the derby first, because, you got to show respect to Dundee United. They've had a good season there.
Yeah.
They've come up in the last couple of years, consolidate. Tam's obviously changed a little bit, and they've done well, and they're looking to get in the top 6 as well. So it's going to be a tough game.
That's the thing. You guys could beat them, and they could fall out the top 6. They're 4th at the moment.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's the brilliance of this whole thing, the way it's unfolded. Just out of curiosity, I've got to ask you this, because it's big games. You always ask these specific details about preparation. Tam, have you been practicing free kicks?
No.
Yourself? No.
Aye.
Well, you might have to step up from about 25 yards and curl one.
Doesn't leave you that. Disney Levy.
Yeah.
Done it at Disney Levy, yeah.
They came on last week and was man of the match, set up 2 goals.
The two
After getting bullied for Lewis Ferguson.
the two.
Let's not go into
And then bullied for Jim Gooden after the game.
Yeah,
It's a double whammy for him.
No, I know, absolutely. It was brilliant. And you know what? Because obviously we were hoping you were going to be here on Wednesday, but obviously you'd cut your nail. I knew you were going to say he's grabbed my shirt first. I'm just trying to break free.
Should be a foul for Dundee.
Listen, I've seen it back now, and listen, it's there's a coming together. But you know, Lewis Ferguson is one of the players that moans about everything.
Yeah.
And
did you have a wee bit of sledging with him?
everything.
It was good.
And he gave me a wee bit back. Actually, he was.
Yeah.
No, he hammered me for my weight and things like that. So it's not a problem. Man.
That's brilliant.
I said I'm still better than you at 36. So it's just the way it goes.
I love him, man. I love him. By the way, that's the
But
bad
do you know
stuff.
what? For me, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
The buzz. That's what keeps me going. Trying to
Destabilise you.
trying to get in the mind of these younger ones that are now in the Scotland squad that are getting, you know, linked with moves and all that. And that's the challenge for us as senior players now. Can you go and, as older players coming to the end possibly, can you still prove that you're good enough to play in that team? And that's what I try. That's what gets me going this Saturday. Getting involved, winding players up, taking a bit of stick.
Gives you a wee bit of edge, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's what keeps driving me on, and that's what's getting me through the games.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's better to burn out than fade away.
Well, absolutely.
Bit of a banger.
And to be fair, mate.
You're not going to bang us here, relegation.
Surely you know who said that, Peter.
Well, go on. Say that again.
It's better to burn out than fade away.
Kurt Cobain.
No,
Who?
Neil Young.
Neil Young. Oh, fantastic. I can't believe I didn't get that. My producer says Kurt Cobain. I'm going to get in there and batter him. Anyway, apart from anything else,
did burn it.
it's a fantastic attitude. I love that attitude. In fact, that's why possibly you three have all been joined as part of the team. We only like picking people, roughly apart, because you need a housewife's favourite, right?
It's spineless, he's no opinion.
We only pick people to come and work for us who irritate the life out of other people. And I think I've picked the ultimate three in you three. And the great thing is, with this derby, Dundee United know they're, fourth, 40 points. They'll be going into the game with confidence. But from your own point of view, it's a scrap. It's make it messy, I presume, and try and derail them.
I'm looking forward to their display and their banners and all that. They've supposedly bought some new banners for their stadium for tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they produce. And it's a wee day out for them, innit? But listen, it's a derby. The first two derbies, I think, have been terrible in quality. There's not been much on show. So let's hopefully we're on the end of a good result, and we're going to have to make it tough, scrappy, and hopefully there's one or two bits of quality can win us the game. Yeah,
well, listen, good result against Aberdeen. Are you starting to see, the fight in the boys? I know you'll fight.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good. When you're done there, I think we could take the positive bouncing back from 2 goals that we lost, and we bounced back twice from losing. Well, they went ahead, and we bounced back again. And I think you've got to take that into the next game. So no, we're looking forward to it. Lads have been good all week. It's a derby. We're looking forward to it, and there's going to be a buzz about the city. And let's say, hopefully, we can be on the end of a good result.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. What did you pick? What's your prediction on it?
I think that Dundee still win 2-1.
Yeah, you going?
Yeah, I went 2-1 Dundee United. Sorry, Charlie.
Well.
Oh, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope it's.
You did actually.
3-1 to Dundee United.
Richard, where are you going? What are you going?
I think it'll be a score draw. I'm going to go for another 2-2.
Nobody actually fancies, is there?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I've gone 2-1 Dundee United.
Yep.
Tam Cowan's gone 2-1 Dundee United. You've just heard from him. Ruffy, who's on a beach sipping a tequila sunrise at the moment, he's gone 2-1 Dundee United. Absolutely nobody fancies you, apart from Hugh McDonald, who said a 1-1 draw. Which
This is 2 each.
Yeah, and yourself 2 each now. So nobody's...
Keep a love men in the park, Charlie.
Nobody fancies you to win it. If it's not going to be you, is there somebody else that you're looking to in that team, just as a last point, that you think in that Dundee Blue that can step up and produce a wee bit of magic that you look to?
Yeah, well, I can't give too much away, but I'd probably say Paul McMullen. It'd be great for him to go and try and score.
He's starting then?
Well, he's played every game, so he will be.
That's good. McMullen.
4-2-3-1?
Yeah, McMullen starts.
No, we surprise him, Ora.
Yeah. Oh, Oh, brilliant.
5-5-0.
No, 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 5-0. We don't attack.
Yeah, that's...
Don't defend, son. Attack.
That's fantastic. If only... If I've just
4-6-0. That's not 5, it's 4 at the back.
It looks as if Alan Gilzine and Gordon Wallace are coming back into
Get Stubby in.
Those two players. If only you had them for Dundee. What special players they were. Anyway, apart from that, fingers crossed, you can give us your opinion. Who's going to win that Dundee derby? It's going to be magnificent. Can't wait to see. I hope it's all positive banners about their club. I genuinely couldn't. I hope they're not giving you pelters in one of them. Anyway, what about the Edinburgh derby? Fantastic. Love it. Love the atmosphere. And it's in one of my favourite grounds, Tynecastle. Sorry about this. I've tipped Hibs to get battered in both games coming up.
I thought you said you were going to tip Hibs there.
No, but it's going to be special. And our reporter, Kerry Pollock, was out yesterday at Tynecastle, and today she's been out there in Trinent with the Hibs squad.
Thanks, Peter. I'm here outside the Hibs Training Centre in Trinent today, where the manager Sean Maloney has been looking ahead to the third Edinburgh derby of the season. Now, despite no goals being scored between these two as of yet, Hibs will be looking at this game as a must-win if they want to be within any chance of getting into that top 6. Now, they won't be the only team looking at this weekend with that mindset, as just a point or two separates so many clubs in that Premiership table. Maloney told us that the players understand the severity of the game and the importance at this stage of the season, but hopes the pressure will land on him rather than his players.
Definitely gets magnified, I think, but I think it's my job to really try and take that off the players. I think they do understand the size of our club. I love the demands, I love the expectations of our support. I love how much support as we get. I think we've sold out our end again, which our away support's been fantastic. So we understand the demand. But yeah, hopefully all that pressure the players don't feel, and I'd rather take it for them than the players on the pitch.
Team selection in derby games can be crucial, especially at this stage of the season. Sean Maloney told us that Christian Doidge won't be part of the squad come Saturday, but players such as Matt Macey and Harry Clark will be available. With 3 points up for grabs for so many teams and the opportunity to get into that top 6, this weekend proves to be an exciting one.
Yes, it does indeed. Kerry out there with the Hibs camp, no Christian Doidge. So you look at that Hibs team, are they capable of going into the Lions' Den? And, well, it's not really a Lions' Den because there's no lions. And do you remember that line? Do you not remember that press conference? Stephen Gerrard. Oh, forget it. Anyway, you remember. Thank God you're here, Charlie. Honestly, magnificent. Can you get in there and win?
Yeah, I think Hibs can. I think they've showed this season that they can match Hearts in a one-off game. You know, it's been 2-0 game results. Both games have been excellent. You know, good spectacles. You know, both goalkeepers in top form. Craig Gordon seems to be a very, very hard man to beat at the minute. You know, Hibs have not scored a goal against him this season. He's some outstanding saves. So, listen, Hibs need to go there and defend well. I think you've got Ryan Porteous who's not going to be playing, which is going to be a miss.
But is it?
It means they'll keep 11 men on the
That's what I'm
pitch.
saying.
It is for me. I think he's a good player. He's a good player. But listen, Hibs need to go and get a result. There's no doubt about it. They could end up in the bottom 6.
There's 2 questions I've got for you because so many people on our message have said, ask Tam. Where
are you sitting?
No, that's the third question, sorry. But the 2 questions I'm going to ask you, but just out of curiosity, because I like Porteous as a player, I just think somewhere along the line, somebody needs to get a grip of him and try and turn him into a better player. But you two, clearly, do you have reservations?
I agree with you. As a player, physical attributes, powerful, strong in the air, quick, decent on the ball, but he has that kind of mad moment where he just loses concentration, or he'll throw himself into a ridiculous tackle, or he'll do something ridiculous that's kind of normally out of character with the rest of his performance. I think he's good enough to be in the Scotland squad, but he needs to eradicate the other side of his game. You know, when he's nearly cutting an Aberdeen player in half and claiming, I went for the ball, and little things like that. It's just, like I say, I don't know if it's a lack of attention or whatever it is at that moment, but he has moments in big games where he just seems to lose the plot and he inevitably gets sent off or booked, and his disciplinary record is shocking.
Charlie?
Yeah, the maturity will come. He'll come. The penny will drop eventually because missing games, the club can't afford not to have him in the team. You know, they're a better team when he's in there, so it is a blow for him because a big game, big moment for the club for top 6 or maybe finishing the bottom 6, so huge loss for him. But you're hoping that this ban will settle him down a wee bit and he'll learn from it. And I think Sean's probably a good manager for him. I think Jack was a good manager because they're calm and there's no really that, so we'll see where it goes. But no, I like him as a player and I think he's You know, he just has to learn, and the penny has to drop soon, because if it doesn't, it'll affect his career going forward.
Yeah, well, lots of people saying, ask Tam, if you had a choice, would you take a battering in the league match knowing that you were going to win the semi-final?
No, I think no. I think that
Because you're not guaranteed to win the cup.
No, I agree. I think that this game is bigger for Hibs. I think if Hibs finish in the bottom 6, they could get dragged into a relegation battle. I think if they finish in the top 6, they've got a chance to go and finish in Europe. I think the semi-final obviously is a big game against Hearts, but then you've got Celtic Rangers in the final. You're going to be a big underdog. So I think this game is more important for Hibs. This game tomorrow that is more important for Hibs, and I think next week is more important for Hearts, because Hearts have got third place tied up. Next week, if they beat Hibs, I think they're guaranteed 8 games in the Conference League or £3 million or something. So this game tomorrow is bigger for Hibs than it is for Hearts.
Wow, I did not see that coming, did you?
That was the polar opposite of what I said yesterday. I just think that as a football player, you want to win things. I don't think if Hibs go into the bottom 6, I don't think there'll be a relegation battle. I think I know we've said it before, they're too good to go down, and they did, but I just think that they would have enough. And looking back in your career, you're not going to remember the time you finished 7th or 8th in the league, but you'll remember the time you played in the Scottish Cup final, or you won the Scottish Cup, I think. Yes, maybe as a club, for the reasons you've suggested, it's probably better, but for the players, getting to a Scottish Cup final, I think, would be a better achievement.
Charlie?
Listen, your career's judged on what you win, isn't it? You all want to, but I could see Tam's point of view, that financially as well, the reward of finishing the top 6 and progressing for next season, like you say, you're not guaranteed winning the Scottish Cup. So even though you're in the final, you're playing Rangers or Celtic, you're not guaranteed. If you're going to guarantee me winning the Scottish Cup or finishing the bottom 6, I'd take winning the Scottish Cup, but you're not guaranteed to win. You're not guaranteed to beat yourself. So I think Hibs need to just focus on the league and trying to get in that top 6, because you know Sean will be looking for next year. His budget could depend on that as well. So no, this is a huge game for Hibs. Hearts I think have been excellent. I think Robbie's done a brilliant job. Definitely going to be up there for Manager of the Year. To turn around from where they were, you know, he was getting dogs abuse and how they played in the Championship, but to go and perform to that level week in, week out with the squad that they've got, you know, it's fair play to him and his staff.
That's an interesting point. I don't think anybody would have been quoting Robbie Neilson for Manager of the Year, do you?
No, don't think so. But if they finish third and win the Scottish Cup, you know, he's got to be in the vicinity. But you know, I think obviously Ange Postecoglou is in the driving seat for that.
But I mean, other nominees. I mean, that's an interesting point he makes there. If I was thinking of nominees, Robbie Neilson would not have come to the forefront, and I could be wrong, but I'm saying to you, he wouldn't have come to the forefront.
Just because of the consistency and where they are, they're 12 points clear, comfortable, not going to go and move from that third place. He's not changed the squad dramatically from what they have in the Hingy. The way of playing's changed a little bit, and it's been harder for them in the Championship. Then listen, they run away with the Championship because teams weren't at the same level, but to go and then kick on again and be at that level of being third for the whole season, I think he's done a great job.
I think they've been helped with the inconsistency of other teams. I think Hibs have been poor this season, like Aberdeen have been terrible. You know, Ross County and Livingston could potentially finish fourth. So I don't think the league as a whole.
No, but you worry about yourself. You don't worry about what everybody else is doing. You worry about yourself, and they've done well enough to keep that run going and getting the best out of the players that they've got. And I couldn't put Robbie Neilson up for Manager of the Year with Ange Postecoglou.
It's a good point, but Richard, Barry Mackay signed a 3-year deal, which I'm delighted because the boys come back and he just looks an older, more experienced player, you know.
I mean, I played with Barry at Rangers, and young kid, loads of talent, loads of pace, just maybe I think he felt that he probably should have been playing more. I think people around him felt he should have been playing more because of the talent he had. But you know yourself, when you're a creative player at Rangers and Celtic, there's a lot of pressure on you. You have to perform every week, and you know I think sometimes younger ones need to be shielded a bit from that and put into the team when the team are doing well, and it allows them to develop a bit more. But you're right, he's went away. He's worked hard. He looks a lot fitter than I've ever seen him. And then and that gives him the base to go and then show your quality. Because if you get great quality, but you can't last a game of football, you're never at the races. You're always kind of playing catch up. But he looks fit. He looks strong. I've seen he done a lot of work in the closed season. You know, kind of one-to-one work with kind of sprint coaches and stuff, and it seems to be working for him because this season he's been brilliant. The way he moves across the pitch, he just kind of floats across the pitch. He's so quick. And I mean, you see the quality he's got. That goal he scored last week, that was sensational, or a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was.
I'm surprised. I seen him at Fleetwood, and I was worried where his career was going. Because he wasn't even getting a game at Fleetwood. He was in and out of team, wasn't really happening, showing glimpses around it. And come the summit, well, but obviously Robbie brought him in, and I think he's been sensational. I think he's been brilliant. Like I say, could be definitely up there for Player of the Year as well.
You're just surprising everybody with nominees.
I think his performance has been. I think he's been the driving. Listen, Craig, he's been brilliant as well, but I think he's been the driving force, creative, scoring
starting
goals.
to add goals now.
He's starting to add goals, and that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. But Rich saying, when you're at Rangers, you need to score assists. That's the difference what Kent done from last year to this year. And the performance levels dropped. Now he's done it on a regular basis this season. There's no. He deserves that new 3-year deal, and good luck to him.
I think it's always easy. Like, you get to this stage of the season, manager of the month, manager of the year, team of the year, player of the year. Rangers and Celtic players should be the best players in the league. The Rangers and Celtic should be winning the league. So is it more of an achievement for Robbie Neilson to take Hearts as the championship champions to third place in the league, or for Ange Postecoglou to win the league?
No.
There's a good argument to say that it's a bigger challenge for Neilson to do that, and he's performed better.
Because he was under pressure. They wanted him out.
And it's the same about someone like Barry Mackay or Regan Charles-Cook.
Yeah.
Scoring the goals he scored in the Ross County team, that's a great achievement. I know they score a lot of goals, but if a Celtic or Rangers player who get 3 times the chances that Regan Charles-Cook does, if they've scored less goals than him.
You should be scoring 20 goals as a Celtic Rangers striker.
No, absolutely. I think if Kyogo wasn't injured, I think he'd have won it out of the park. But I'm a big fan of Regan Charles-Cook. I think he's the man that should be.
Him and Hungbo, I think, have been excellent for them.
Interestingly enough, listen, we always try and predict a derby. What happened before, will that have an impact? Not according to Robbie Neilson.
We're at home, we're expected to win. Even when we go to Easter Road, we're expected to win, but Hibs are in exactly the same position, so it doesn't matter what's going on prior to it, what we're going after it. It's about that 90 minutes. It'll be a totally different game, different park, different atmosphere as well. It's a semi-final, but like I said before, it's about this derby is the most important thing. Once that gets out of the way, then it's on to the next one.
The last time.
Well, I have to say, he's well aware that he's going to be favourite. I think basically, if Hearts do win this derby, and the players sometimes the players go round, Charlie, and then they just applaud their fans. And if they go over to the far side, opposite the tunnel, and look up, they'll see in the commentary box, a young girl there with a kind of a blue rinse perm and a pink dress on and high stilettos, and that'll be Tam.
We're in the Wheatfield standing up. Me and the other boy, in with the Hearts fans at the opposite side.
Hibs jacket on.
Aye.
Oh, your Hibs jacket on.
No, I'm not wearing that tomorrow.
No, you're not. No.
You're going in with a balaclava. You're going in with balaclava. Balenciaga.
You'll get arrested for that. But nevertheless, I've got Hearts to win 3-1.
No, I think it'll be a draw.
Come on.
No, listen.
Seriously?
I think it'll be a draw. I think it could be 0-0.
0-0? No chance.
Well, Hibs have got no strikers and they
I
don't shoot,
give
so
it a
they're not
0-0.
gonna score.
Yeah.
But please don't get beat. If I need to come out to Tynecastle and I've just been gubbed, man, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
At least draw. Don't get beat.
3-1. I've got hit.
Yeah, I think Hearts 2-0. I think it'll be quite comfortable for Hearts.
Yeah. Charlie?
I think Hearts just.
Yeah. Just.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go 3-0 to Hibs.
3-0 Hibs. Well, listen.
Get it round them. Come on, high bees.
There's great punditry for you. Get it round them.
My God.
Can I just see you turn into Chris Sutton? Can I change it to 3-0 on your predictor? No, I don't think so. Anyway, listen, there's been a fair bit over the last couple of days that have left a kind of a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths with regards to the handling of Andrew Considine. It rages on. Jim Goodwin today, speaking about it, said, well, the whole affair here, the leak, wasn't Aberdeen's fault.
And we wanted to be the first ones to break that news to our supporters, but unfortunately, a private and confidential conversation that I had with Andy ended up being leaked and ended out there in the public through no fault of our own, to be honest. And whether it was Andy's agent or a family member or whoever has spoken to this particular journalist, we then have to respond to it.
Well, come on. I mean, wise up, man. I mean, Jim Goodwin knows the score. Players speak to their agent speaks to journo that he's best pals with. That's how the whole service goes round.
And the reason that we're talking about this for 3 days solid is because Aberdeen released a statement. And yes, you've had a conversation with a player who's out of contract, and that's been leaked to the press. But then, so you counteract that by then actually talking about details of said contract that you've offered, which throws Andy under the bus, and then you've got everybody jumping on the bandwagon saying, oh, he's just chasing money, he's 35, he shouldn't get that money anyway. So they've heaped way more
pressure on him
than he did them. Yeah. Because like you say, who cares? Manager talks to his own player about contract. That's not even the best. Tabloid papers couldn't make that into a headline. Yeah. But Aberdeen have made it a headline by coming out with this ridiculous statement that our confidential talks have been leaked. So?
Yeah. Talks are leaked all the time, Peter.
Absolutely. By the way, I bet you Aberdeen have leaked things through probably the same journalists.
When they want to get rid of players,
want to get things out.
Yeah, when they want to get rid of players, they'll say he's not wanted. I mean, you're looking for a club, you're going to be phoning a guy for the press up and going, listen, I'm not getting a deal here, can you put my name in the paper, link me with a couple of clubs? I've done that before as well.
No, absolutely, but my point and the thing that sticks in my throat about it all is Richard and I were talking about the fact that, so soon after there's been a leak, Aberdeen put out a release, a statement that is basically loaded, not with the exact details, but loaded to make him
six figures
look greedy.
Contract,
yeah, but to make him look greedy.
Yep.
And that I thought was lousy. Not only lousy, but lousy. There are some players who you think, when there's a fallout because one player...
Like Jet or somebody like that who's not done well.
No, but...
You wouldn't mind that.
Take Jet out of the equation.
The guy's played 500 games.
No, but that's my point. He's a legend.
Yep.
And you've absolutely trampled him into the
fourth
top.
on the list of the all-time appearance holders at Aberdeen.
And there's no loyalty in football. Listen, the boys all know that. There's no loyalty in football. When teams want you, great. When teams don't want you, they're sicking you to try and leave, to pay you off, so... Listen, you look after yourself in this game. But no, I totally agree. A guy that's been there his whole career, 500 games, deserves better than that.
Poor Charlie.
Poor as a football club.
Yeah.
I think Aberdeen have handled it wrong, the manager's handled it wrong. Listen, Andy Considine, the first thing he said is, the first thing you do when you've had talks with your manager is you call your agent. And you're going to use that to an advantage to say, listen, the club are not going to offer me a deal. The deal's obviously off the table now. It's been poorly done. Like you said, 4-0 time list for Aberdeen as appearance holder. Be an absolute legend at that football club, and yeah, probably what he'll be in the squad now for the rest of the season. Because Jim won't want to put him in there because...
The issue that I have with this is you've got 6 games left. You might need them. You might get injuries and you might need them. Because who else you got there? Gallagher, who's hardly played. Devlin, who he's
being released.
Well, he's how many games has he played in the 4 years he's been there? Yeah. McCrory's playing there. I don't think he's a centre half, and then you've got Bates playing there, who I think needs an experienced head beside him. Yeah. So they might actually need Andy and it would be great if they actually did, and Andy just went, no guys, I'm not playing, I'm going to keep myself right for the next season.
Yeah, I think it's a poor way to end things with him, and that's why I've gone for Ross County to win 5-0, Charlie. 1-1, sorry. What are you going for in this one? I think Aberdeen are bottom 6.
Wouldn't it surprise me if Ross County beat them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it surprise me knowing the show in the last week?
Yeah. Richard?
Yeah, I'm the same, I'm going to say 2-1 Ross County, I think.
I think I've went for a draw, but just when you're saying that, I quite fancy Ross County now.
Yeah, okay.
You can't change it.
No, exactly. He's just swinging with the wind at the moment. Anyway, Michael Devlin is going to be released as well, but what a chance for Ross County.
A few others there that you'll get rid of.
By the way, for balance, Charlie, you have to say, listen, I've got no qualms with Jim Goodwin. He's a good lad wanting to build his own side. The club have handled this poorly.
But
Jim Goodwin wants to clear
ruthless,
it out.
He's coming and done ruthless, cleaned physios out and things like that as well.
Physios on the move as well.
He's been in and he's wanting to do the job. Listen, fair enough, you've got to come in because something's wrong there. Yeah. Aberdeen shouldn't be in the bottom 6, but they are, and he's obviously trying to make a statement really by these decisions.
Yeah, everybody's looking at what's happening in other games, but not the Motherwell manager, Graham Alexander.
You have to break down a game of football, I think, as a coaching staff, as a player, to taking away what's happening on the periphery of a game of football and really focusing on what you have to do during those 90 minutes. Anything else is distracting, a lack of focus, and if you do that, then you're not doing yourself any favours. So we have to focus on how we try and beat Livingston. That is our only job tomorrow. We can't affect anything else, anywhere else.
Graham Alexander, I think, is right there. Just don't look anywhere else. Do what you do on the park for you, for Motherwell.
Yeah, as I say, it's a big game for Motherwell, big game for both clubs, can both finish in the top 6. Motherwell, great result last week. You know, it's really helped them in trying to get in that top 6, beating St Mirren, you know, at home. They were in a bad run. I think he was under a wee bit of pressure, Alexander, but that seems to have eased it a little bit. And if they can finish in the top 6, listen, Motherwell, you know, the expectations of the supporters, I think, were a little bit high. I think Motherwell were a kind of mid-table Premiership team. If they can finish in the top 6, I think that's a good season for Motherwell, you know, in terms of the size of the club. Don't think they should be challenging for 3rd and 4th, and if they do, it's an exceptional season. So I think I went for a draw in that game. I think that'll be tight.
Yeah, I've got a draw 1-1 as well, because I think no matter what way it ends, Livingston have a great season. I had Livingston to get relegated, Charlie, so I'm holding my hands up.
Yeah.
Boy, did I get it wrong.
Yeah, no, he's done brilliant, turned it round. And I'd fancy Motherwell Livingston to get a win here. He's done a good job there, and I think after last week's decision, you know, you're hoping that it doesn't come down to that day, that penalty. You know, it's one of them. So no, I think Livingston will just edge it.
Yeah, there's 6 clubs that potentially, with all the permutations, could make top 6. St Mirren, I'm being kind to them, saying they've got a chance to make top 6 because they're playing Rangers, and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will look and say to himself, well, wait a minute, there's the return leg coming up, so I'm going to will he rotate a lot, or will he just say to himself, I've got to try and hang on in this league title race?
Well, I've been calling for him to rotate the squad for the last 3 or 4 weeks because of the pressures of playing in Europe all the time. You've seen what's happened to Morelos, overplayed him, got injured in games that, with all respect against Dundee, I felt that you didn't need to play him, you know, and that's also an opportunity then for your Roof, your Sakala, whoever, to go in and get game time under their belt. So when they come in, they're actually ready to come in and play. So Roof was, I mean, how many 90 minutes had he played before the Old Firm game? No many. But yeah, it's. I think Rangers will win the game, but I think they need to try, and they've not really shown any kind of reaction from Sunday, I don't think, because I thought last night they were a bit lethargic, and you know, and as Charlie suggested, the Old Firm game takes a lot out of you physically, mentally. That can happen, but they need to kind of go and show the Rangers fans, look, we've not given up this season. We're still going to fight to the death. We've got an important game coming up the following week against Celtic in the Cup. So I think they'll be due a performance on Sunday, and I think they'll beat St Mirren.
I think he's going to change it and maybe freshen it up as well, Giovanni. Certainly from the comments today. So I've gone Rangers to win it 1-0.
I think the league title will be done and dusted this weekend. I don't think Rangers will win. I'm going to go for 1 each. I think St Mirren will take a point. I'm not having Rangers at the minute without Morelos. I think they'll struggle for goals.
Okay.
No, 2-0 Rangers. Okay.
A couple of points I want to make quickly before we finish the show today, and it's been a real rip snorter. Tom's been on for him, just throwing grenades. That's all right, because he's obviously going to change his attire by tomorrow as he goes into as he goes into the witness protection scheme. Anyway, apart from anything else, great game on Sunday. Looking forward to it in English Premier League. Man City against Liverpool. It could be D-Day. Here's Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola.
But I think our history with City shows that very often. It was pretty interesting watch, because both teams really go for it.
You need someone that push you from behind to realize, oh my God, we are there, we are close. You know, you make the mirror and it's here, they are here. Then you have to make another step.
What a challenge this one is. Man City with the advantage for me, Charlie, but I'm going Liverpool to win it.
I think Desmond 2-2.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a brilliant game. Let's say the two best teams in Europe, the 2 best managers in the world. It's going to be a fascinating game, tactically and all that. So, no, I'm going to go 2-2.
The audience for this one's going to be massive because of the implications. What are you going?
Yeah, I hope it's a fantastic game. It's probably a chance for both sides to actually face another team who are not just going to sit in and play a 5-5. You know, because Liverpool attack Man City and vice versa. I'm going to go 3-2 Man City.
I think it's going to be, this game has obviously been hyped by Sky, and when you get games that are severely hyped, everybody's expecting a cracker.
0-0.
I think it's going to be 0-0. So I wouldn't even watch it, I'd just put the golf on.
You're so lying.
To be fair, I'll be watching the golf.
No, the game, we're going to go for 0-0.
Yeah, but the golf doesn't start until like 7:30.
Yeah.
But the guys have better out early.
Because +5.
Brilliant, Tom. Anyway, no surprise, there's another little footnote here that I read this morning. An investigation into potential rule breaking by Man City on illegal payments for underage players, inflated sponsorship deals and hidden salary payments made to a former manager has been made in a German newspaper. Wow, it wouldn't have taken a lot of research into that.
Can we name
The
a
amount of
manager?
fair play, no, the amount of, would you call it, FIFA fair play clubs that I look at and think, how are you getting away with it? I mean, how Barcelona can sign players and they're 1.5 billion in debt escapes me. But last point, Everton, one of only 6 teams not to be relegated from the Premier League. They're up against Man U. Do you think they're going down overall?
I think they could. I think the running of games they've got is tough. And there's clearly something wrong at the club. You know, Wayne Rooney turned down the chance to manage there. Frank Lampard took over, but there's clearly things going on behind the scenes, and the players are not right, and they're dropping like a stone.
Are they going down, Charlie?
No, but I think that result the other night is they're hanging on with the nails, and it's going to be tough for Frank. But I just think they'll be enough.
Yeah, I hope Everton stay up, by the way.
I hope they stay up. I think they're going down. I think the Toffee's on a real sticky patch.
No, he's finished off with a gag. He's finished off with a gag. The Toffee's in a real sticky patch. He's happy with his "We are the people." He's had a great day today, and of course, all that camaraderie and chat will cease tomorrow as he sits there, and he'll be doing what I call the classic commentary on your club TV when the third one goes in for Hearts. That's it, 3-1. Game's over.
Tom, Postecoglou, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be one of those days. Anyway, apart from anything else, don't forget, if you get a chance, we'll give you details of it over the course of this week. But we've launched our Champions League night. Hopefully you can join us for that. Take yourself a table, come and meet the guys. We're going to have a great night watching the Champions League final. Lots of prizes, lots of good fun. Tam Cowan will be with myself and Ruffy as well. Hopefully you can join us for that. We'll give you details on our Facebook page as well as on the YouTube. You'll be able to find the details. What we would ask you to do is hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll get notifications of our unique content. We've got lots of great interviews, and over and above that, Charlie and Richard will eventually reveal to us their dream team of their best 11 players that they've played with. Which one of them is going to pick the best 11?
Oh, I wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, from Richard, from Charlie, good luck.
Thanks.
Can't wait. Hope there's no banners about you. But good luck. I want to see Charlie hit a 30-yard screamer.
I hope there's banners. Oh, I'd love it. Oh, I'd love it.
So they are.
I want a 30-yard screamer, Charlie. See if you can come up with something special for us.
What would you do if you scored in a derby? What would your celebration be?
I've already got it sorted.
Oh, yeah, dancer. I
thinking
can't
about
wait.
already.
Brilliant. I can't wait for Monday. Anyway, apart from that, thanks to Tam, Richard and to Charlie, from myself, Peter Martin. Have a great weekend.